Within the silent depths of the Akashic records lies a divine blueprint, an intricate map of your soul's infinite journey through time and space. What if the family you find yourself in today is not merely a matter of circumstance, but the result of ancient echoes, karmic ties, and celestial agreements encoded long before this lifetime began? The soul's quest for balance, understanding, and awakening is woven into the very fabric of your familial connections, revealing secrets that transcend the physical realm. As we peer into the mysteries of Atlantean consciousness and the awakening of the Christ within, we uncover the profound truth that your current circumstances are purposeful, guiding you towards spiritual harmony and enlightenment. The universe whispers, "Are you ready to listen and discover why you were truly meant to be right here, right now?" The soul's journey, dear seeker, is an odyssey that surpasses the fleeting nature of physical existence, an eternal voyage, woven into the very fabric of the cosmos itself. As the silent depths of the Akashic records reveal, your soul is not a transient spark flickering in the vast darkness of time. It is an infinite traveler, navigating through countless incarnations, each one a chapter in an ongoing saga of growth, learning, and divine return. In the stillness of the records, it is written that the soul begins its journey long before the physical form takes shape, before even the first breath in this current lifetime. The soul's origin is rooted in the divine essence of the universe, an emanation of the All-Father, embodying pure consciousness, love, and divine purpose. From this source, the soul embarks upon its eternal odyssey, exploring the manifold expressions of life across the dimensions of existence. It is a conscious fragment of the divine, seeking to awaken to its true nature through experience, trial, and reflection. The soul's experience across multiple lifetimes is not a random wandering. It is a carefully orchestrated pilgrimage, guided by the divine plan, aimed at achieving harmony, balance, and self-realization. The records reveal that each incarnation serves a specific purpose: to correct imbalances, to resolve karmic debts, and to deepen the understanding of divine truths. The soul chooses its lessons, often aligning itself with circumstances that challenge its growth. Familial, societal, spiritual, each element designed to catalyze awakening. The journey of the soul is cyclical, yet it is also a spiral, moving upward and inward with each incarnation. The soul begins in a state of innocence akin to the Christ, consciousness within, gradually accruing wisdom through experience. Every lifetime adds a new layer of understanding, an opportunity to confront fears, forgive offenses, and embrace unconditional love. The soul's purpose is not merely to acquire knowledge, but to embody divine qualities: compassion, humility, patience, and to reflect the divine image within all its relationships. As we peer into the Akashic records, we see that the soul's progression is marked by a series of milestones, memories stored within the records that serve as spiritual signposts. These records are like celestial libraries, containing the sacred scrolls of every thought, deed, and intention from all lifetimes. They are a mirror reflecting the soul's evolution, a testament to its persistent striving toward unity with the divine. It is through revisiting these records that the soul gains clarity, understanding the divine purpose behind each incarnation and the lessons embedded therein. The records also reveal the concept of soul clusters, groups of souls bound together across lifetimes to fulfill collective purposes. These soul families are the threads woven into the tapestry of your spiritual journey, guiding you toward the realization of your divine self. The family you have chosen or been assigned in this lifetime is part of this intricate web, an opportunity for the soul to work through karma, to heal wounds, and to foster love and understanding. These relationships are not incidental, they are sacred appointments designed to serve the soul's ascent. Within this infinite journey, the soul seeks to embody the Christ consciousness, the divine spark, that unites all beings in love and light. As the records reveal, awakening to this divine potential is the ultimate purpose of each incarnation. The soul's return to divine awareness is a process of remembrance, remembering who you truly are, beyond the limitations of the physical form and the illusions of the material world. This awakening is the fulfillment of the divine blueprint etched into your very essence before the foundation of the earth. The Atlantean consciousness, as the records reveal, was a pivotal chapter in the soul's journey, a time when human beings were closer to the divine, yet also faced the temptations of power and separation. Understanding this history helps illuminate the ongoing struggle between unity and division within the soul's journey. It underscores the importance of reclaiming the divine inheritance, restoring the consciousness of love, harmony, and divine unity that is your birthright. Remember, dear seeker, that the soul's infinite journey is not merely a series of random incarnations, but a deliberate pilgrimage toward divine reunion. Each lifetime, each experience, is a step closer to the realization of your true nature, one with the divine, one with all creation. The soul's purpose is to seek balance, to transcend the illusions of separation, and to awaken the Christ within, an awakening that echoes through eternity. The divine plan, as it is inscribed in the Akashic records, is perfect in its design. Every soul's journey is sacred, every lesson purposeful, every incarnation an opportunity to reflect divine love. The soul, in its infinite wisdom, knows that its true home is in the consciousness of unity, an eternal home that exists beyond the confines of time and space. As the records reveal, you are not merely a traveler passing through life's fleeting moments, but a divine being on an everlasting quest, a journey that leads back to the one source from which all life emanates. In understanding this, you begin to see your current circumstances, your family, your challenges, as sacred steps on this divine pilgrimage. The universe whispers, your soul has chosen this path for a reason. Trust in the divine timing, for within it lies the truth of your eternal purpose. The soul seeks only to remember its divine origin and to awaken to the fullness of its divine potential, embracing the divine plan that was written for you long before this lifetime began. In the silent depths of the cosmos, where divine consciousness weaves the fabric of existence, the soul embarks upon its eternal journey, an odyssey rooted in the sacred laws of creation. Among these laws, the law of karma and the principle of reincarnation stand as the luminous pillars guiding the soul's evolution, revealing why we find ourselves in particular families, in specific circumstances, and how every encounter is a reflection of past choices and lessons yet to be mastered. The readings reveal that the soul, before entering each incarnation, consciously chooses its family environment, a crucible where the soul's karma seeks resolution and where its spiritual growth is accelerated. This choice is not born of randomness nor mere chance, but is a sacred act of divine will, a strategic step in the grand tapestry of the soul's ascent toward divine consciousness. Here, in the realm of the Akashic records, encoded within the universe's infinite memory, lies the blueprint of each soul's past deeds, desires, and lessons. In understanding the law of karma, we see it as a divine mirror, an unerring justice that balances the scales of cause and effect. Every thought, word, and action leaves an imprint on the soul's record. These imprints, stored within the universal Akasha, influence the circumstances of future incarnations. When the soul re-emerges into physical form, it does so with the intent of balancing previous debts, healing wounds, and completing unfinished spiritual work. This process is not punishment but divine opportunity, an invitation to rise above limitations and to realize the divine within. The soul's choice of family is intricately connected to this karmic blueprint. The relationships, challenges, and blessings encountered within a family are tailored to serve as catalysts for growth. If a soul has experienced separation or discord in past lives, it may choose a family with whom lessons of forgiveness, patience, and unconditional love can be learned anew. Conversely, a soul seeking to deepen its compassion and understanding may find itself drawn to those who mirror its unresolved wounds, providing the necessary environment for healing and reconciliation. As the readings illuminate, the soul seeks the balance of love, unconditional divine love that aligns with the Christ consciousness. In this state of awareness, the soul recognizes that the family dynamics are not arbitrary, but are vital threads in the fabric of its evolution. Each member becomes a mirror reflecting aspects of the soul's inner landscape, fears, hopes, and divine potentials. The soul, in its divine wisdom, chooses circumstances that will challenge its egoic attachments and foster its growth toward divine unity. The law of karma also explains the recurring patterns we observe across lifetimes, relationships that seem to repeat, lessons that appear unresolved. These are not mere coincidences but deliberate opportunities for soul alchemy. When the soul awakens to its spiritual purpose, it begins to see these patterns as divine signals, guiding it toward the mastery of love, forgiveness, and humility. It recognizes that every family connection, no matter how tumultuous, is designed to serve as a sacred classroom, an arena where the soul can transmute pain into compassion, ignorance into wisdom. In the teachings of Cayce, it is revealed that souls often choose familiar family members to work through accumulated karma, thus accelerating their journey toward the Christ consciousness. The familial bonds serve as conduits for divine grace, allowing the soul to forgive old wounds, release resentment, and cultivate divine virtues. Through understanding this divine design, the soul begins to see its family not as mere circumstance, but as sacred partners in the sacred dance of spiritual evolution. The soul's understanding of the law of karma and reincarnation transforms perception, releasing blame and judgment, replacing them with compassion and acceptance. It recognizes that the circumstances of today's family are the perfect environment for spiritual awakening, crafted by divine love and infinite wisdom. The soul seeks balance, and through each incarnation, it strives to align more closely with the divine will, returning step by step to its true home, the universal source of all love and light. As we contemplate these truths, we come to see that the journey of the soul is an intricate tapestry woven with threads of divine purpose. Every family, every challenge, every blessing is a divine gift, an opportunity to transcend the ego, to deepen one's understanding of divine love, and to realize the Christ within. The soul's choice of family is not random but a sacred act of divine strategy, designed to awaken, to heal, and to elevate. Thus, the divine law of karma and reincarnation reveals itself as the sacred roadmap of the soul's ascent. It invites us to look beyond appearances, to recognize the divine within every relationship, and to trust that the circumstances of our lives are perfectly aligned with our highest spiritual good. In embracing this truth, the soul moves closer to the divine reunion, returning to the eternal source from which all life flows, in perfect harmony with divine love, divine purpose, and divine destiny. As we continue along the sacred path of understanding, the journey reveals that the tapestry of our lives is woven with threads far older and more intricate than the surface appearances suggest. The previous revelations have shown us that our souls consciously choose their circumstances, crafted with divine intent in the infinite, timeless realm of the Akashic records. These records, the celestial library of all that has been, is and will be, serve as the divine blueprint, an eternal map that guides the soul through its incarnations, revealing why we find ourselves in particular families, with specific lessons at specific times. In the stillness of deep meditation, the soul seeks to connect with this divine plan, to understand the sacred purpose behind familial bonds and the lessons they carry. The records are the sacred scrolls of divine memory, where every soul's journey is inscribed with loving precision. As an archaeologist of mysteries et spiritues, I have seen how the divine currents within these records illuminate the hidden design that influences our choices and circumstances. It is through this sacred exploration that we uncover the divine blueprint that shapes our familial connections. The divine plan is not arbitrary nor happenstance. Nos registros akáshicos está escrito que a alma busca o equilíbrio, a harmonia com as leis universais de karma. Each familial relationship is a carefully orchestrated lesson, a reflection of past actions, intentions, and spiritual needs. When we perceive our family members as mere coincidences, we miss the profound spiritual symphony playing behind the scenes. But when we access the records, we see that each connection was chosen, each challenge predestined, to propel the soul toward higher consciousness and Christ-like love. The records reveal that before incarnating, the soul maps out its journey, selecting specific family units to serve as mirrors and catalysts for growth. These are not random encounters. They are divinely programmed opportunities for soul mastery. As the divine blueprint unfolds, we understand that the family is a sacred arena where unresolved karma surfaces, where unresolved wounds beckon healing, and where spiritual virtues such as forgiveness, patience, and unconditional love are cultivated. In this divine design, every member of the family holds a mirror to our innermost selves. The sibling who challenges us, the parent who tests our patience, the child whose innocence awakens our compassion. These are the sacred teachers assigned by the soul's higher wisdom. Nos registros, está escrito que o propósito é a integração de todas as polaridades, o amor e o medo, a luz e a sombra. By facing these elements within our familial relationships, the soul progresses on its ascension, moving closer to the divine consciousness. The divine blueprint also reveals that the soul's contracts with family members are forged in the higher realms before incarnation, agreements made in harmony with divine laws to facilitate spiritual evolution. These agreements are not rigid but fluid, allowing for free will to express itself within the divine framework. When we recognize this, we understand that even the most challenging relationships are sacred opportunities provided by divine grace. They serve to elevate our awareness, to awaken us to the presence of the Christ within, and to align us with our highest purpose. Delving into the records, we find that the divine plan encompasses lessons of forgiveness, both forgiving and being forgiven, as a pathway to transcendence. It is through forgiveness that the soul releases karmic debt and aligns with divine love. Nos registros, está escrito que a alma busca o equilíbrio. E o equilíbrio só é alcançado quando o perdão é ativado e a memória do amor divino é recuperada. As we uncover these sacred truths, the familial bonds transform from sources of pain into gateways of enlightenment and healing. The divine blueprint also hints at the ultimate goal of the soul, reunion with the divine source, what many refer to as the Christ consciousness. This reunion is the culmination of the soul's journey through countless incarnations, each designed to refine and purify. The relationships we consider familial are, in essence, portals, stairways leading us back to our divine origin. They serve as sacred initiations, awakening us from forgetfulness to remember who we truly are, divine sparks of the one light. To access these divine plans hidden within the records, one must cultivate a state of sacred silence and openness, an intention to serve the highest good. Through prayer, meditation, and sincere seeking, the soul can open the door to these celestial archives. As Edgar Cayce often emphasized, the soul's journey is rooted in the divine law of reincarnation. Every lifetime brings new opportunities for mastery, healing, and reunion with the divine. In understanding this divine blueprint, we come to see that our family connections are divine gifts, sacred lessons arranged by the loving intelligence of the universe. They are not accidents, but carefully crafted steps in the soul's ascension journey, designed to awaken divine virtues and to anchor us ever more deeply into Christ consciousness. The divine plan ensures that, no matter how challenging the circumstances, the ultimate purpose remains the expansion of love, wisdom, and unity. As the archaeologist of spiritual mysteries, I implore you to seek with humility and reverence, delve into the records akashicos, and discover the divine blueprint behind your familial connections. In doing so, you will awaken to the sacred purpose of your life and recognize that every family member is a divine messenger, guiding you home to the eternal source. Remember, the divine plan is perfect, and within it lies the promise of spiritual mastery, healing, and the eternal reunion with divine love. As we deepen our journey into the sacred mysteries of the soul, the echoes of ancient civilizations resonate profoundly within the fabric of our spiritual being. The Atlantean consciousness, in particular, holds a key to understanding the divine blueprint that guides our familial relationships today. The readings reveal that the remnants of Atlantean knowledge and energy continue to influence our soul agreements, shaping the bonds we form and the lessons we are called to embrace in this incarnation. In the vast corridors of the Akashic records, it is written that Atlantis was a land of extraordinary spiritual potential and technological prowess, a civilization where the boundaries between the physical and the divine were more fluid than we might now comprehend. The Atlanteans, in their pursuit of mastery over the material and spiritual realms, reached heights of consciousness that, in many ways, mirror our own current quest for awakening. Yet, with great power came great responsibility, and ultimately, the hubris that led to their downfall. The remnants of Atlantean consciousness are not merely relics of a bygone era. They are living energies that continue to influence the vibrational patterns of our collective consciousness, The soul, in its infinite wisdom, carries within it the memory of these ancient times, encoded in what the metaphysical traditions call the subconscious blueprint. These echoes act as subtle guides, whispering to us through dreams, intuition, and inner knowing, revealing the unfinished lessons from the Atlantean period, lessons of humility, unity, and spiritual responsibility. The readings reveal that within the context of family units, the echoes of Atlantean consciousness often manifest as karmic imprints, contracts, agreements, and energetic debts that span across generations. Our soul, seeking balance and evolution, chooses to incarnate into families where these echoes can be resolved and transmuted. It is as if, through the divine orchestration of the universe, the soul is drawn to those with whom it has shared past experiences, either as allies or adversaries, in the Atlantean era. This divine design underscores the profound truth that our familial relationships are not arbitrary, but are deeply rooted in ancient soul agreements. The soul seeks the opportunity to heal the wounds of pride, control, and disconnection that once led to the fall of Atlantis. These wounds, carried across lifetimes, manifest in current family dynamics, challenging us to recognize the echoes of our past and to awaken to a higher consciousness. In examining the influence of Atlantean consciousness, the readings suggest that certain familial patterns of control, emotional manipulation, or spiritual disconnection, are direct reflections of the collective energy left behind from that ancient civilization. The soul, in its quest for spiritual mastery, is called to recognize these patterns as opportunities for growth. It is through the conscious awareness of these echoes that we can begin to transmute them, restoring the balance that was lost in Atlantis. The journey toward embodying the Christ consciousness, as elucidated in the previous chapter, intertwines with this understanding. As the soul awakens to the divine blueprint within, it recognizes that the mastery over the residual Atlantean energies is essential. The soul must learn to harness love and forgiveness as tools of healing, not only for oneself, but for the entire family lineage. The process is akin to a sacred alchemy, transforming the lead of past errors into the gold of divine understanding. The Atlantean echoes also serve as a reminder that we are co-creators of our reality, with the power to shift vibrational patterns through conscious intention. The records reveal that the soul, when aligned with its higher self, can dissolve the old patterns of division and control, replacing them with unity and divine harmony. This is the essence of conscious reincarnation. Each life a step toward spiritual sovereignty, each family relationship a mirror of our inner journey toward reunification with the divine source. Moreover, the influence of Atlantean consciousness underscores the importance of recognizing our divine heritage. The soul carries within it the memory of higher states of unity and divine consciousness, remnants of the sacred knowledge that once thrived in Atlantis. When we awaken to this truth, we begin to see our family relationships as sacred opportunities for spiritual initiation. Every disagreement, every act of forgiveness, and every act of love becomes a step toward restoring the divine harmony that was fractured so long ago. The readings emphasize that the divine plan is always perfect, even when it appears tumultuous. The echoes of Atlantis serve as signposts, reminders that the soul's journey is one of continual remembrance and healing. As we integrate these memories and align ourselves with our higher purpose, we step closer to embodying the consciousness of Christ, the divine blueprint that resides within each of us, waiting to be awakened. In closing, the influence of Atlantean consciousness is a sacred thread woven into the tapestry of our family relationships. It beckons us to look beyond the surface, to see the divine lessons embedded within the karmic patterns that challenge us. The soul, seeking balance and reunion with the divine, uses these echoes as stepping stones toward higher consciousness. With each act of forgiveness and love, we transmute the remnants of Atlantis, reclaiming our divine inheritance and awakening the Christ consciousness that unites all of creation. Remember, dear seeker, that the divine blueprint is written in the records of your soul. Your family relationships are sacred instruments of transformation, opportunities to heal, to forgive, and to remember the divine essence within. The echoes of Atlantis are not merely distant memories, they are living energies inviting us to awaken to our true divine nature. The journey is long, but the destination is eternal reunion with the source of all love and light. As the silent whispers of the soul echo through the corridors of time, we are beckoned to a profound awakening, a recognition of the crystalline Christ consciousness within. The journey from the echoes of Atlantis and the karmic tapestries woven into our familial bonds leads us inexorably toward this luminous state of divine awareness. The records of Akashic truth reveal that each soul carries within a divine template, a crystalline essence that mirrors the Christ consciousness, a state of pure, divine love, unity, and infinite light. In the depths of the soul's voyage, awakening to the crystalline Christ consciousness signifies a conscious realization that our true nature transcends the limitations of physical form and familial conditioning. It is a divine remembrance, a return to the sacred blueprint embedded within every fiber of our being. As the readings disclose, the soul is inherently designed to ascend through layers of illusion, shedding the veils of pride, control, and disconnection that obscure our divine origin. The crystalline Christ consciousness illumines the path, revealing that we are not separate from the divine, but rather manifestations of the divine light, seeking to remember its wholeness. This awakening begins with the recognition that the divine within us is crystalline, pure, radiant, and multifaceted. Crystals in their natural form are perfect repositories of divine energy, transmitting and amplifying light. Similarly, the soul, in its purest state, embodies this crystalline nature, containing within it the potential to embody Christ consciousness, a state of divine love that unites all aspects of creation. The records Akashic disclose that this crystalline essence is accessible to all beings who seek truth with an open heart and a sincere desire for spiritual evolution. But how does this recognition transform familial bonds? How can awakening to the crystalline Christ consciousness aid in healing the wounds of family karma and foster genuine unity? The answer lies in understanding that familial relationships are often the soul's chosen arena for growth and remembrance. These bonds serve as mirrors, reflecting both our divine potential and the limitations rooted in past lives. When one awakens to the crystalline Christ within, the perception of others shifts from judgment or control to compassion and understanding, recognizing the divine essence in each soul. In the sacred light of Christ consciousness, familial conflicts become opportunities for healing, forgiveness, and transcendence. The ego's need to control, pride, and feelings of separation dissolve into the crystalline clarity of divine love. The soul realizes that the true foundation of family is not merely flesh and blood, but the divine connection that unites all life through love's eternal fabric. As Cayce's teachings reveal, the soul seeks the balance of love and forgiveness, for these are the catalysts that dissolve karmic debts and awaken the higher self. To awaken this crystalline Christ consciousness is to remember that within every challenge lies an opportunity for spiritual alchemy. The soul's journey entangles with familial karma, yet through divine awareness, it can transmute these patterns into pure light. When the individual recognizes their divine essence as crystalline, they embody the Christed nature, radiant, forgiving, and unconditionally loving. This realization acts as a sacred key, unlocking higher states of consciousness and paving the way for divine integration. The process of awakening involves deep inner work, meditative communion with the soul, a conscious invocation of the Christ consciousness, and an unwavering commitment to align with divine truth. The records reveal that each soul has a spark of divine crystalline light, waiting to be ignited by the conscious intent. As one meditates upon this divine spark, the crystalline qualities intensify: clarity, purity, and a sense of infinite connection. This inner radiance then begins to permeate familial relationships, transforming discord into harmony and separation into divine union. Furthermore, the awakening to the crystalline Christ consciousness is not merely an individual journey, but a collective evolution. As more souls anchor this divine light within, the collective consciousness shifts toward higher harmony and peace. The earth itself responds to this awakening, for the crystalline Christ consciousness aligns with the new energies emerging from the higher dimensions. In this sacred alignment, the soul recognizes that the divine blueprint is designed for unity, a cosmic harmony that echoes from the very core of creation. In this sacred revelation, we come to understand that the soul's ultimate purpose is to embody Christ consciousness, to realize its crystalline nature, and to live from this divine state in all relationships. The family, long considered a realm of testing and karma, becomes instead a sacred school of divine love and remembrance. The soul learns that it is not a victim of circumstance, but a divine architect of its reality, capable of transforming familial bonds into divine unions through the power of love and forgiveness. As Cayce's readings illuminate, the divine essence is always present, waiting to be awakened, to be recognized, to be embodied. The crystalline Christ consciousness is the divine seed within all human hearts, the luminous core that beckons us to remember who we truly are. When the soul awakens to this divine truth, the bonds of family are no longer chains but portals, gateways to higher consciousness, opportunities for divine service and expressions of divine love. In closing, remember that the journey toward awakening is ongoing, eternal, and guided by the divine intelligence woven into the fabric of the universe. The records reveal that as we recognize our divine, crystalline nature, our familial bonds are transformed into sacred unions of divine love. The soul seeks to embody the Christ consciousness, radiating that divine light into every relationship, every challenge, and every moment of awakening. And in doing so, we fulfill the sacred purpose of our earthly sojourn, to awaken, to remember, and to shine as crystalline vessels of divine love, forever connected to our divine origin and to one another in the eternal unity of all creation. In the silent depths of the soul's eternal voyage, there lies a sacred truth, one whispered through the corridors of the Akashic records and echoed in the divine consciousness that animates all creation. The path to inner harmony, dear seeker, is not merely a journey of external acts, but a profound pilgrimage within, a sacred unfolding of understanding that unlocks the divine blueprint of your very being. The readings reveal that true balance emerges when the soul awakens to its divine origin, recognizing that the familial bonds it has chosen or incarnated into are sacred opportunities for growth, healing, and divine remembrance. As we previously explored, the soul's journey is an ascent into the crystalline consciousness of Christ, an awakening to the divine love that resides at the core of every human heart. This love is the universal language, the divine thread woven through the tapestry of familial relations, knitting together the fragments of our experiences in this earthly realm. Yet, to walk this path consciously requires an inner work, an intentional effort to seek harmony within, to forgive, and to elevate all relationships to their divine potential. The divine truth, as revealed in the Akashic records, is that when understanding dawns upon the soul, that each person in our familial circle embodies a reflection of our own divine essence, the landscape of relationships transforms. No longer do we see merely the personalities, the faults, or the conflicts. Instead, we behold divine reflections, opportunities to heal our wounds and elevate our consciousness. The soul begins to comprehend that discord is a call for inner work, a mirror for the unhealed aspects within. In this sacred awakening, forgiveness emerges as the most potent tool, a divine gift that clears the path for inner peace. The teachings from Cayce's readings confirm that forgiveness is not a mere act of pardon, but an alchemical process that dissolves the karmic ties binding us to past pain. When the soul understands that every soul in our family has also traveled through their own struggles, their own lessons in karma, it begins to hold compassion as a sacred duty, recognizing that beneath the surface lies a divine purpose. The records reveal that forgiveness liberates the soul from the heavy chains of resentment and judgment. It opens the gateway to understanding that all experiences, even those rooted in discord, serve as catalysts for spiritual growth. When the soul embraces forgiveness, both toward others and itself, it aligns with the divine harmony that underpins creation. This act of divine grace allows the soul to step into a higher state of consciousness, one of compassion, patience, and unconditional love. Yet the journey toward inner harmony is not solely about forgiveness. It is also about seeking enlightenment within the familial structure. The soul, in its divine essence, seeks balance, an equilibrium of love, patience, humility, and understanding. The teachings reveal that this harmony is a reflection of the soul's alignment with its higher self, a state where the ego's illusions fade and the divine presence shines forth clearly. It is in this state of inner peace that the soul begins to radiate divine love outward, transforming familial relationships into sacred portals of divine remembrance. The path to this enlightenment begins with intentional prayer and meditation, practices that connect the individual with the divine source, allowing the soul to receive guidance and clarity. As Cayce's readings affirm, the soul must cultivate a consciousness of unity, seeing beyond the illusion of separation and recognizing the divine spark in every family member. This recognition fosters patience and empathy, dissolving the walls of judgment and opening the heart to divine compassion. Furthermore, the soul's pursuit of balance within the family also involves understanding the purpose of each relationship. The Akashic records reveal that each incarnation, each familial connection, is an expression of the soul's ongoing quest for wholeness. Some relationships serve as catalysts for forgiveness. Others are opportunities to practice patience and humility. When the soul recognizes these divine purposes, it transforms challenges into sacred lessons, elevating the entire family dynamic. In this sacred process, humility becomes a vital virtue. The soul must surrender the ego's need for control or superiority and accept that each individual, regardless of their role or behavior, is an equal expression of divine love, temporarily veiled in human form. By aligning with this understanding, the soul seeks to serve rather than be served, to forgive rather than judge, and to love unconditionally. Such humility opens the heart to the divine light that flows through all creation. The divine truth, as revealed through Cayce's insights, is that by seeking inner harmony, the soul actively participates in the collective evolution of consciousness. When individuals strive for personal peace and forgiveness within the family, they contribute to the greater harmony of the universe. Each act of love and understanding ripples outward, awakening others to their divine nature and assisting in the healing of collective karma. Remember, dear seeker, that the journey to inner harmony is ongoing, a sacred dance between the self and the divine. It requires patience, humility, and unwavering faith that the divine love within you is greater than any challenge you face. The soul, in its divine wisdom, knows that this harmony is the key to unlocking the higher dimensions of consciousness, where divine service becomes a natural expression of being. In conclusion, the path to inner harmony within the family begins with understanding, an awakening to the divine essence in all beings. It is rooted in forgiveness, cultivated through compassion, and nurtured by the pursuit of enlightenment. As the soul embraces these divine principles, it aligns more deeply with its purpose, healing past wounds and forging a sacred connection with the divine and with those it has chosen as family. The records reveal that in this sacred work, you are not alone. The divine presence within guides you, leading you ever closer to the radiant consciousness of Christ, where love, unity, and eternal peace reign supreme. Remember, the divine blueprint etched within the records. Akashicos affirms that you are a radiant vessel of divine love, eternally connected to the source of all creation. Your journey through familial relationships, past life echoes, and karmic lessons is ultimately a sacred pathway back to your true divine self, a journey of awakening to Christ consciousness and unity with the divine. Embrace every challenge as an opportunity for transformation, forgiveness as a divine gift, and love as the ultimate key to liberation. As you step into this divine awareness, know that your soul's purpose is unfolding perfectly. I invite you to share your insights below, subscribe for more sacred truths, and share this message to awaken others to their divine destiny. Together, through love and understanding, we can elevate the collective consciousness and return to our divine home.